Hi guys, it's Rishmina and welcome back to the Peppy Podcast. Welcome. Today's episode is about approval and we're discussing about how people seek approval outside of themselves and how we can redirect that to get it from within. Approval is the belief that someone or something is good or acceptable or likable. I know in the past I've acted in ways to get approval from other people. I may have done things or said things or behaved in a certain way just to get someone to like me or think I was cool. And basically when I was doing that, I was looking for validation outside of myself. And if I were to say that now I've completely stopped looking for external validation, I would be lying because I still have a few people whose validation I seek, and that would be people I'm close to and people who are significant, such as close family or my best friends. But speaking on a more general level, I do want to be liked and I do want people to think I'm nice. But what's really changed is the extent to which I'll go to get people to like me and think I'm nice. According to psychiatrist Timothy Jader, we seek approval from other people when our internal sense of worth fails. When we don't believe in our own capabilities, we look towards other people to confirm those beliefs that we lack. Examples of approval-seeking behaviors might be changing your view on a particular issue because someone seems to disapprove. This is one of the commonest signs of approval-seeking behavior. It's when you have a particular belief on a topic and as soon as someone challenges your views, you back down or change your views and stop arguing. Or when you feel really upset or worried if someone disagrees with you and you think that they don't like you anymore or they have a problem with you just because you can't see eye to eye on a set topic. The next example is when someone pays a really insincere compliment. Imagine person A goes and tells person B that they look really beautiful and their outfit is amazing and that they're really pretty. And then person A goes and tells person C that B isn't pretty at all and their dressing style is really weird. That's an example of an insincere compliment because person A was just telling person B things because they wanted them to like them. They didn't mean any of the stuff they said, so it's insincere. The next example is when you do something you really don't want to do because you're scared to say no. I've done this so many times that I've honestly lost count. One time I heard someone vent for 12 hours straight. I really was not enjoying it. I wanted this person to stop. I wanted to tell them that I had better things to do, but I thought it would make me rude. So I kept listening and gave up so much of my time. And looking back, this person has zero significance in my life. And I feel a little sad that I couldn't take a stand for myself and just listen to someone who clearly wasn't very aware of my boundaries either, and I wasn't of my own. Other examples are apologizing too much for everything, so over apologizing or attempting to control others. So I read this quote in a book which I loved, and it says that being less likable is survivable and positively thrivable. What this means is that you can not only survive without someone's approval, but you can thrive. And my take-home message from that book was that you really don't need anyone's approval except your own. And the longer you spend trying to get it, the more time you lose. Anyway, what's the worst thing that can happen if someone doesn't approve of you? What if someone thinks you're annoying or unlikable or stupid? Absolutely nothing happens. It doesn't change anything about who you are and what you mean. Also, the person who thinks these things, that person is wrong because you aren't any of those things. You're a smart and capable individual who just needs to believe that about themselves. So you don't have to say yes to everything everyone asks of you, and you don't have to mold yourself to get everyone to like you. Also, think about it like this: if I knew that someone was agreeing to something because they didn't know how to say no and they weren't in a position to say yes, that would make me feel really uncomfortable. If I knew that they don't have that extra time or that extra money or that extra favor to do for me and they were still doing it, that would make me really uncomfortable and feel like I have some kind of debt to pay back to them, which I don't really like or don't really want. And I also think that if I had to change myself to get someone's approval, then that's not genuine approval anyway. That means that either I'm putting up an act to get you to approve, so the minute I become myself, the approval is gone, or I have to keep acting like someone I'm not for the rest of my life so that your approval supply continues, which I think is also pretty exhausting. So I don't think I can do that. But yeah, your needs and your wants really matter. And when you act like your needs matter, other people will behave the same way. If you give people the message that you can sacrifice all your time for every Tom, Dick, and Harry, then everyone who comes along will believe that you're available for them and will put them first and put yourself last. So I think I had no idea how to express my needs when I was younger. I didn't know it was okay for me to have needs. I thought it made me inconsiderate or selfish in some ways. And I let these needs slide over and over again till I built up a lot of resentment. And eventually, all that resentment bubbled out of me. And when it did, I felt terribly guilty. And the person on the receiving end was so confused because they had no clue that I'd been feeling that way. And they had no clue that they'd been contributing to me feeling that way because I had never been vocal about my own needs. I remember one time I went on a holiday with a group of 8 girls, and before we were heading out to the beach, one of them asked me to do their hair and makeup for them and help them get ready. So I did it for them, and then I did it for the next person and the next person. And then when every single person was done, it was time for us to leave. We were already a little late, and I hadn't gotten ready at all. So I had less than 5 minutes to get ready for myself when I had spent more than, I think, 3 hours helping everyone else with their hair and makeup. So what I'm trying to say is that if I really needed time to get ready, I should have made that clear to others and set that time aside for myself. So it was my own fault that I didn't prioritize myself then. And anyway, I don't know if I just expected people to magically read my mind, but I know now that nobody can do that for me. So if I need something or if something isn't working out for me, it's my responsibility to say something about it. So that brings me to the end of my episode. All I'm trying to say is approve of yourself because it's really freeing and liberating. So thank you for listening to the Peppy Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and I will see you next time. Bye.